worked combined for 40 years, and I've worked in the NHS for 42 years. So I started in a different trust at Leighton Hospital. Why I decided to work in the NHS, it wasn't something that I'd planned to do at all. I'd never thought of nursing. I thought of a couple of other careers, and I was doing my A-levels. I stopped doing my A-levels and I applied for a job at Leighton Hospital in Crewe. I thought it was going to be working in an office, but it didn't end up working. My first day with the nursing officer, as they were called in those days, when I was about 17 and a half, she sent me out straight away with the community psychiatric nurses. They were enrolled nurses then, not mental health trained nurses, and that's where that's where it first started and what I loved. They were fantastic people, and they really got me involved in it. And from then, when I became 18, I could then get a full-time job, and they gave me a full-time nursing assistant's job. It was on the psychiatric wards, as they called them then, in a adult general hospital, and the two psychiatric wards were on the top floor of the hospital. So I stayed there for 2 years. Before then, I decided they encouraged me to do my training, and that's when I went to St Edward's, and that's when I started work for Combined. Started my training in 1982 and qualified in 1985. So my first recollection was when I'd been on the ward for not very long at all, probably only a few days, and I was working with, I was playing table tennis with a young patient that wasn't that much older than me at the time. And later in the day, he absconded from the ward and was quite distressed, and he went onto the roof over the A&E department at Leighton Hospital, and the charge nurse had said at the time, "Lynn, come with me because you've built up a rapport with him. Come with me and let's go and talk to him." So my first recollection is sitting on the roof, not a little bit away from the edge where we talked, and everything was fine after that. And from then on, it built my confidence and my enthusiasm for wanting to do this type of work. I went to St Edward's Hospital to do my training. So I started there in 1982 and qualified in 1985. Very soon after qualifying, within a few months, I went on to the community. So where I first started, where I was working with those staff at Leighton, I went to do that more or less straight away as soon as I qualified. So it was a bit of my dream job, really. In those days, it was more of a generic, so you had an area to work in, but you worked with all age groups. So part of the day you may be seeing a young person, and another part of the day you might be seeing an older person. So things have changed since then. But I stayed on community for quite a while. But then moved on to older persons care, and that's where my passion's always been, is for older people. So I've worked in quite a few community hospitals, so Longton, Bradwell, Bucknell, before we went to St Edward's, before we went to the Harplands. So I've done a lot of community hospitals with older people. Oh my goodness, what changes have I seen in the NHS? Lots of changes. Lots of changes from the practice, the services, the development of services has been phenomenal. And when you think about all these years, and it's quite frightening really to think that all these 40 years, what changes has happened. It's huge. The development of such specialist services has been, really quite amazing, and there's been lots of opportunities to do lots of different things during that time. To finally now working with student nurses. What do I love about the job? It's the people. The people that we work with, the people that we support, the carers that we support, and the staff. I think one of the most important things that's kept me doing the job as long as I have is the fantastic teamwork. I've worked with some fantastic teams and some fantastic staff of all disciplines, you know, not just qualified nurses, not just the doctors. I've had the privilege of working with the best healthcare support workers ever, and the support service staff, the admin staff who don't always get the credit that they deserve. It's those people that have made a difference to me, and it's those people that have kept me in the job when the times have been difficult. And there's nothing more satisfying than working in a team where you can all be open and honest, don't always agree, maybe tears, it's been there's been very difficult times, but when you can all pull together, the effectiveness as a team that makes the difference in the outcome for patients is absolutely huge. And that's what makes it all worthwhile.